Hi, welcome for my second episode of Faith and Food. I did talk about Genesis 1 and 2, my first episode of my first video. Today I'm going to be making scones, honey scones. The only sugar in it is honey. I really like these, but today we're going to be talking about Genesis 3. I'm going to go verse by verse, break it down, and really just add my comments and thoughts on it. And in the comments as well, could you add in, help me understand it, just because I'm hopefully going through the Bible as well with you, and just so we can better understand the story. Like, how does it affect you? What is your thoughts on it? And so on and so forth. So let's start with Genesis 3. Now the serpent was more subtle than any animal of the field which Yahweh God had made. He said to the woman, "Has God really said, 'You shall not eat of any tree of the garden'?" And so if you notice, he's starting out with a question. And a lot of times when you're doubting things, you question it just in life. Like, is this really bad for us? And if you're doubting it, it's probably, it's probably not right. You should do it. So the serpent, the snake, is trying to tempt him here with that question. Like, you really aren't supposed to eat from the tree of the garden? Like, are we really supposed to not steal? Yeah, so if you're questioning it, you're doubting it, you probably know it's not right. The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat fruit from the trees of the garden." Okay. "We may eat fruit from the trees of the garden, but not the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden. God has said, 'You shall not eat of it, you shall not touch it, lest you die.'" So if you saw my last video, I talked about how Adam also stated that he would die if he ate from it. Does he really know what death is? Like, they've just been created. Do they really even have any understanding of death? It just makes me wonder. So they're eating this fruit, and I've always kind of wondered, what fruit is it? Is it an apple? I know when you ever see like visuals of this, you see an apple a lot. And do we really know? Is it an apple? I'm just curious on that. What do you guys think the fruit is? Is it a pomegranate? Is it grapes? Because they talk about, and it could be figs, because they talk about how they cover themselves with fig leaves. For God, the serpent said to the woman, "You won't really die." So he's trying to reassure them that won't really happen. So he's lying to them now. "For God knows that in the day you eat it, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." So he's trying to make this sin almost seem good. It's like when you know you're not supposed to do something, and it's like, but everyone else is doing it. It's like, oh, you'll have this nice, item if you steal it. Who's going to really know? But really, we know deep down inside that this is not right. When the woman saw that the tree was good for food, okay, so she's saying, oh, well, there's food there and I'm hungry, but it was a delight to the eyes. Okay, so it's also pretty, it's beautiful. So maybe it is an apple, like it's this red, vibrant apple, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise. So it's going to make her intelligent. Okay, yeah, who wouldn't want that? You're going to be more intelligent if you eat this. And she took some of its fruit and she ate. So she was tempted. She was brought in, and we do this all the time. We're tempted by things and we don't resist that temptation. She then gave some to her husband with her, and he ate it too. Makes me wonder, does he know that she's giving him fruit from the tree? Their eyes were opened, and they both knew that they were naked. They sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Okay, so whenever I read from the Bible or I read anything, I really kind of start thinking beyond. And I was thinking, do they know how to sew? Sorry, it says they sewed fig leaves. And it's not like they have this needle and thread. Are they using how are they sewing it? Are they just using a thorn and poking through and using, I'm sorry, I'm just how are we sewing this? And then fig leaves, I am going to be honest, I've never really seen a fig plant in real life. I mean, you always see the pictures, they have the big leaves in front of them. I'm like, are they really that big? I guess they really are. And so it would make sense why they said a fig leaf was covering them. Okay, they heard Yahweh God's voice walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh God among the trees of the garden. Okay, so have you guys ever sinned? Well, I shouldn't even ask that. We know we've all sinned. You've done something and you knew it was wrong. What do? You hide. You try to hide that you did it. It's like, I used to be a first grade teacher, and if a kid knew that they weren't supposed to do something, they would a lot of times hide under their desk. And it's like, okay, let's get out. But they're hiding because they're trying to avoid the confrontation because they know that they did was wrong. right? They're ashamed of it. And they're like, if you can't see me, it's I can't see you, and we do that same thing. You try to avoid conversations. If you know that you did something wrong to someone else, you try to avoid confronting that person, and just so you don't have to admit to what you've done. Yahweh God called to the man and said to him, "Where are you?" So he really knows where they are, but he's trying to see if they're going to come out, because he knows that they're lost, not lost like literally within the garden, but they're lost like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and they need to be found. The man said, "I heard your voice in the garden and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself." Oh, there we go. God said, "Who told you that you were naked?" So he knows this, and a lot of times we ask that too of people, and you really know the answer, but you're trying to get them to confess. Have you eaten from that tree that I commanded you not to eat from? Once again, God knows that they have, but he's trying to get them to confess. The man said, "The woman who you gave to be with me, she gave me fruit from the tree and I ate it." He's immediately putting the blame on the woman. Yahweh said to the woman, "What have you done?" The woman said, "The serpent deceived me and I ate it." So she's now putting the blame on the snake. Yahweh God said to the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed above all livestock and above every animal of the field." So they're just passing along the blame. They don't want to take the blame. And we do this in life as well. You're like, "I didn't do that. They told me to," or "I didn't know it was wrong. Like, they deceived me." We need to admit of our wrongs, and we struggle to do that as humans. So now this snake is being cursed. "You shall go on your belly and you shall eat dust all days of your life." So that makes me wonder, at the beginning of Genesis 3, was it a snake with like arms and legs? I'm just like trying to picture this, a snake with arms and legs. And I know that they have, like, scientists have done some research and they've seen that there's like bones where snakes used to have legs and stuff. Yeah. Okay, anyways, moving on. "I will put hostility between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will bruise your head and you will bruise his heel." To the woman he said, "I will greatly multiply your pain in childbirth." So now we have pain. "You will bear children in pain. Your desire will be for your husband and he will rule over you." So I've always struggled with that. I don't feel like the man rules the woman. I've never, ever believed that. I feel like there were equals. So I want to read into that tomorrow. To Adam he said, "Because you have listened to your wife's voice and have eaten from the tree about which I commanded you, saying, 'You shall not eat of it,' the ground is cursed for your sake. You will eat from it much labor all the days of your life." So now work is going to be hard. "It will yield thorns and thistles to you, and you'll eat the herb of the field. You will eat bread by the sweat of your face until you return to the ground, for you were taken of it. For you are dust, and you shall return as dust." So there we go. We talked about that in Genesis 1 and 2, how we come from the earth and we're going to return to the earth. The man called his wife Eve because she would be the mother of all living. Yahweh God made garments of animal skins. So we had these garments that we made, but they were like disposable. Their leaves, they're going to go bad. And so now God's making garments that are more permanent. So he's clothing us because he's going to help us get rid of this sin. Yahweh God said, "Behold, the man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. Now lest he reach out his hand and also take the tree of life and eat and live forever." Therefore Yahweh God sent him out for the Garden of Eden to the ground for which he was taken. So he drove out the man. He placed cherubim at the east of the Garden of Eden and a flaming sword which turned every way to guard the way of the tree of the life. So now they can't go back to this pure garden. Wow. Okay, so this isn't just about Adam and Eve. This is about us, that we as well sin every day, and that we need to confess of our sins and realize that what we've done is wrong, and that we have to live in this broken world. But if you notice, God didn't give up on them. He continued to keep push and try to help them grow. And he's not going to give up on you or anyone else. It's just amazing to know that he's going to not give up on us no matter what our sin is, even though he told us and he warned us. But we have to confess of those sins so we can move on from there. Wow. Okay, well, thank you for listening. I'm going to end with a little prayer. I pray that you each this week have time to realize what our sins are and grow from our sins, and that we're not tempted by our flaws and sins around us, and that we continue to just have an amazing life. All right, enjoy my end of my video with my scones. They are delicious. I'll post the recipe in the comments below. Have an amazing week. Bye.